Hey there, Kyle Souza here with another episode of What's Up in the Woodlands. For February 2023, we want to talk about the Woodlands Mall expansion. Before we get to that, again, my name is Kyle Souza. This is What's Up in the Woodlands, a monthly podcast about things going on in and around the Woodlands, Texas, and my take on them. I'd love to hear from you about these topics and suggestions for future topics. You could submit all that at my blog, thetalkinggeek.com. All right, let's talk about Houston Galleria 2.0. Just joking. The Woodlands Mall. So the Woodlands has long envied, I think, the Galleria and the San Antonio Riverwalk and all these other kind of pop culture hallmarks around Texas. And there's a lot of money here, right? So they're like, oh, it should be nicer. I mean, the Woodlands Mall's been pretty nice, but it is a pretty, 90s mall as far as architecture and style is concerned. And there are some great stores in there, right? And there have been a lot that have redone spaces. There's Our House and Nordstrom and places that have moved in. Market Street, kicked Gap Kids and Baby Gap out, replaced them with the Nike store. There's Louis Vuitton, there's Lakers has been there for a long time. There's a Tesla, there's all sorts of stuff over in Market Street. And so what they're looking at doing is taking down the parking garage, and maybe also like P.F. Chang's and Cheesecake Factory, that area, and really expanding that parking lot area into more retail space. And so they want to enlarge the Woodlands Mall with more retail space. They want to add a couple of hotels, especially one attached to the mall, like they're used to with the Westin down at the Galleria, right? And they will have a new higher parking garage. Now, personally, I don't understand why they didn't do a taller parking garage in the first place. I get it that they had to get approval for it and all that, but like a taller parking garage should have been approved. I would think one that was 5 levels would be the minimum, because the space that the parking garage took up, you need 2 levels just to replace that space, because now you have to have additional lanes, all the concrete. You lose the amount of spaces that you have on the ground level by putting a parking structure in there. So you need the second level to make up for that. And then the third level is really the only additional space. It's not much, so they need a bigger parking garage. I can definitely agree with that. The township did, and it is a convoluted, messy, confusing thing, in my opinion, but the township did agree to help pay, at least in part, in a way, for this new construction. So the mall is developed by a private developer, but the township board believes, or township council, the people in charge of the township, believe that a revamped mall with the hotel, they actually want to add a couple hotels, like I said, more dining area, more retail space, all that would benefit the area. And so they want to invest in this endeavor through some funding through tax incentives, that kind of thing. And, I don't blame them. Like I said, the Woodlands, I've said this before, is an affluent area. They want these higher end retail spaces. They want more restaurants, more entertainment focused things. They don't want, Old Navy, right? And Old Navy's not there right now, but, they may even be getting rid of some of the mainstays, as it were. I mean, Macy's used to be Foley's at the Woodlands Mall. There's JCPenney, there's Forever 21. There used to be Mervyn's. Now that's Dick's Sporting Goods. We'll see if that sticks around. Dillard's has been at the mall forever, right? But I think that these big department stores, which are kind of like the mainstays of malls in America, are being challenged by a lot of the more boutique stores. And the Woodlands is a great place for boutique stores. And we're seeing how well a lot of those have done at Market Street. I have no doubt that we're going to have them at the Woodlands Mall, just like I see down at the Galleria. I do see more and more events. Maybe this is me paying attention more, but there are a lot of great events in Houston, like big business conferences, right? And they have been able to attract some to the Woodlands, but Shenandoah has tons of hotels. There's a lot of people that do business in the Woodlands Estate hotels in Shenandoah. So, some more hotels in the Woodlands, more conference space in the Woodlands, I think is this business tourism, this event tourism. I think that is a good direction to go with this space. So if you're going to have a hotel, make it a hotel and convention center, and let's have more space for these kind of events, like I don't know, Comic-Con or, those kinds of things could be really good for the local economy, because it's not just that event at that hotel and people staying at that hotel and other hotels in the area, but then people eat at the restaurants in the area. And this is why the township says, hey, we should help invest in this project because it's going to be good for everybody. Personally, I don't like that from a political perspective. Like, I understand it. I really do logically, but I don't like it because so many businesses fail because people won't help them. And then when you have like these huge companies, these big companies doing huge projects and they get lots of money, it's like you could have helped a bunch of small businesses with that same amount of money that could have had just as much, if not a bigger impact, at least in people's lives. But this is very much financially motivated. These kinds of decisions are. So I'm not knocking them. I'm just saying that me personally, it doesn't sit right with me. I don't love it, but I understand it. So they revitalized the outside space, make it all fancy and nice, a place where people want to walk around, where there's plenty of room to enjoy food, drinks, and shopping, that kind of thing. It could be really nice. It'd be really interesting to see, aerial photos of before the Woodlands Mall, when the Woodlands Mall was first built, when Market Street was first built, right now, and then like when this construction happens. It'd be really cool to see those. Maybe we can get on Google Earth and make a slideshow or something for that. So now, dear listener, you've made it this far with me, and I appreciate it. I'd like to ask, do you have any thoughts on this revitalizing, revamping, redesigning, reinvigorating, re-whatevering of the Woodlands Mall and the area immediately surrounding it? Do you have any concerns, any thoughts, any suggestions? I'm wondering, how much outside of the mall is this going to reach? Is the movie theater going to stay there? Is the movie theater going to become part of the mall? Is that parking garage going to change? They've already added some more restaurants over there with the Ice House recently, right? So how's that going to get incorporated? How many businesses have made location decisions based on its current configuration that will have to reevaluate that business decision? Once this reconfiguring has happened, how many places are going to need to move out because they can't afford the new digs? How many places will be forced out, like it seems the Gap properties were over at Market Street because they didn't fit in with the aesthetic? There are not just high-end places at the Galleria, right? There's also, skateboard shops. Like we have Zoomies at the Woodlands Mall. So like I get, there used to be a Dollar Tree inside the Woodlands Mall. I get why there's no longer a Dollar Tree inside the Woodlands Mall. You have to sell a lot of things for $1 to pay rent at the Woodlands Mall. Also, they may not want, a dollar store at the Woodlands Mall as far as the feel and look and vibe they're going for. But it would be sad for me personally to see a lot of those stores, whether it be GameStop or Hot Topic or Claire's. Miss A just moved in. My daughters love Miss A over at the Woodlands Mall. You've got Typo, Cotton On Kids, and Cotton On, but my family shops more Cotton On Kids. There's all these stores. I don't want their, what's it called? Survivability maybe to be put in jeopardy because of some upscaling, So that's my concern. A couple of my thoughts. Well, thanks for listening. My name is Kyle Souza. My blog is talkinggeek.com, and this has been What's Up in the Woodlands for February 2023. God bless.